Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick flip through and a comparison of some ink swatching that I've done lately. This is a Hobonichi plain notebook. It's gridded paper. It's Tomoe River paper. It's from 3 years ago. So this is one of the last good batches before they had their big paper snafu, which has since been resolved. Feel confident in buying Hobonichi products now. And I also have swatches on these Colodex index cards from the Well-Appointed Desk. I'll show you those in comparison, but I wanted to show you quickly a flip through of some of those inks that I've been swatching lately. I'm in the window at work, so you can see with some natural light coming in through the window all the nuances in this ink sampling. These are the Sailor Urumeku inks. In direct light, you can actually see that they are quite different from each other, but when you move away from natural light, you'll notice that it's not quite so pronounced. You can still see it here on this Tomoe River paper. It becomes less apparent when you line these up on the Colodex cards. And these Colodex cards typically show off inks quite well. So I'm having a hard time explaining why they all look so ruddy and muddy, with the exception of the Date Gokuro, which seems to show a little bit more of its undertones still, just like on the Tomoe River paper. But you'll see in the rest of these ink swatches that they all look amazing on these Colodex cards. I think it's just one of those weird interactions between ink and paper that sometimes happens. But it kind of threw me off of these because not every notebook that I use is Tomoe River paper. There's a lot of premium fountain pen friendly papers out there that I love to use, and these inks showed up similarly on all of those. So if you're an exclusive Tomoe River paper, these inks show significant nuance. Those are really pretty. If not, they all look the same to me. The Kitty Ink Pot inks. We've got A Certain Forest, Caramel Apple Waffles, and Origin of the Marshes and Otters. And as you can see on the Colodex cards, they show just as much nuance in shading and depth, in shimmer. It's beautiful. Of A Certain Forest is probably my favorite one. I also did a sample of Noodler's Ink Bay State Blue. This is allegedly the most vibrant blue in existence. It is also notoriously the most difficult to get out of anything. I was very nervous to even purchase this ink, let alone bring it into my home, so I didn't. I kept it here at the salon because it would be a little easier to clean up if I accidentally spilled. This ink apparently stains everything. It does have some really pretty red sheen to it. You can see. And it is very vibrant, but I don't see myself using an ink this notoriously difficult to use very often. So I have a dedicated pen for it, and it will be kept at the salon for easy cleanup. Also, you can see that there's a fair amount of feathering on good quality papers, and it also bled through a lot. Another reason to not use that one. If you were not already opposed to Noodler's ink because of the owner's philosophical leanings, as I certainly am, then, you know, those ink characteristics might be enough to throw you off. Anyways, here are some other ones, but they did make some pretty inks. Lead cast letters and bluebell brush strokes are really pretty. And Beryllium inks, they made some pretty ones too. Adonis Butterfly Blue. That's one of the prettiest blues I've seen in a long time. Moray Eel Green, which is a really interesting dark olive green. Warringal, I'm not sure how you say it, Undine, Warringal Persephone, and Warringal Anne of Green Gables. And those are their swatch cards. Of this group, I'm hard pressed to say which is my favorite. I can tell you that Persephone writes really dry. I have tried it in multiple broad and stub nib pens, and I don't know if it's the shimmer that's in there. I don't know if it's just a dry formulation, but it is not pleasant to write with. So I can't recommend that one, which is very saddening to me because I bought it specifically to go in a pen from Visconti called Persephone. So I thought it would be a perfect match, but it is not. Anne of Green Gables is a really pretty heavy sheener. Waringle is a really pretty dual chrome, and Anderillium Moray Eel Green is just a really interesting green color. So those are all winners in my opinion. Next up we have Rover and Klinger Sandorn, which is also called Sea Buckthorn. Sailor Manyo Ink Shirakashi, recommended to me by Inkdependence Mike from his blog. And then Amarillo Stationery, Rosa Mexicano, and Birmingham Penco Megalodon. And those are their color swatch cards. You can see that typically those are pretty darn identical. Sailor Manyo Ink Shirakashi is probably my favorite from an interesting properties perspective on this page because of all of the heavy shading that it's got. But Rosa Mexicana is a really gorgeous, vibrant pink. It's somewhere between a hot pink and a magenta, and that is a really pretty color. Next up, we have quite a few. We've got Birmingham Penco Black Pearl, which is an interesting ink. You can see it is a green undertoned black ink with a pretty heavy sheen. And then Emerald Fusion from Birmingham Penco is such a heavy sheen. I'm trying to catch the light. It's such a heavy sheener that it actually still looks wet. It's not, it's dry. And then we have Diamine Hope Pink, Diamine Wild Strawberry, Diamine Imperial Purple, Diamine Aurora Borealis, and Diamine Ultra Green, which in my opinion gives Hofcourt de Groen number 28, I believe it is, from Ackerman, a run for its money for vibrancy. Here are their swatch cards. You can see on the swatch card exactly how heavy of a sheener. That's a monster sheener. I mean, that looks soaking wet. And then the Black Pearl is also in the heavy sheen family. They're very pretty. Of this group, my favorite has got to be that Emerald Fusion from Birmingham Penco. I just put that in my Birmingham Penco aluminum fountain pen with the mini stub nib on it last night, so I'll be giving that some further testing later on today. But from what I see on these test pages and cards, that's my favorite on this group. Next up we have Birmingham Penco Phoenix, Pilot Suwaro Line Blue, Bungo Box by Esterbrook Kachu Fugetsu Teal, Jacques Herbin 1670 Gris Orage, Sailor by Tintorias Cilantro, and Sailor Manyo Akebi. And of this group, my favorite is probably a tie between the Birmingham Penco Phoenix because it lives somewhere between a very legible yellow and a light orange, and I just love that. It's a tie between that one and the Sailor by Tintorias Cilantro because that is a really vibrant medium green with lots of heavy shading, and it shows up really well on the paper. And there are their swatch cards. There you go. The Pilot Suwaru, by the way, is from the Suwaru line, which is a permanent ink. So if you need something with more permanence, that's your go-to from this page. Next up, we have Bungo Box by Esterbrook Kachu Fugetsu Flower Pink, Ferris Wheel Press Terracotta Canyon, J. Herbin Poussière de Lune, J. Herbin Gris Nuage, J. Herbin Bleu Océan, and then two really interesting ones from Kitty Inkpot. In those other Kitty Inkpot samples that I showed you, they included, not samples, bottles that I showed you, they included two samples. And Kitty Inkpot, when they do their samples, it's a blind pull from a drawer and they're not labeled. So I just have blind drawer 1 and blind drawer 2. So if you are familiar with kitty ink pots and you recognize those inks, please jump in the comments and tell me what those are, because I have no idea. There's their swatch cards, and there are the other swatch cards. Of this group, my favorite is probably Gerbon Gris Nuage, because it's a very delicate gray with a really pretty lavender undertone, and I think that that's very nicely done. That's a light gray but still legible, and that is really hard to pull off. That is it as far as ink swatches go. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a like and follow, and maybe subscribe. Please comment below with any thoughts you have, especially about those 2 kitty ink pot blind drawer pulls, number 1 and number 2. And as always, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Have a great day.